going on, fam? Is the entertainer, motivator, educator, Lucky Murray, back with another Hoop Council podcast, high school edition. This is my second week in doing the high school podcast where I cover Greenville County High School basketball. Just the boys only right now. And like I said, if you want me to cover those girls, please let me know. Let a brother know something so that we can get those girls some love. But right now, I'm just covering the boys. Just have a passion for basketball here in the Greenville County area. I coach middle school basketball. I also run a basketball club where I teach fundamentals. But I love basketball. And the one thing I do love is high school hoops. And I think that Greenville County, especially here in the upstate, we have some pretty good hoops. So this week, we're going to talk about the top 10 schools in Greenville County. There's also about 15 schools that play underneath the Greenville County banner. But there's also a lot of different schools in the Greenville area that I do not cover. Right now I'm just sticking with the Greenville County schools. But I am going to unveil my second week power rankings. Now I did 3 weeks. The first week I didn't publish them. So this is my second week publishing them. So we're going to see if Greer High School, them Yellow Jackets, stayed number one. We're going to see some movement. And we're going to also see if those Greenville Red Raiders, as I talked about last week, a team to watch, did they sneak up in the top 5 rankings? So without further ado, let's see the power rankings. I like to give y'all some heads up, and those are the power rankings, man. Just updating them yesterday, so I update them every Sunday because they play schools and they play games throughout the week. So I want to let you guys know exactly the most updated list so far. Number one comes to Yellow Jackets. They're 11-2. They was at the number one position last week, and they stayed there. Great job by those Yellow Jackets. Number two, no surprise, Hillcrest Rams. They stayed number 2, 10-4. The Rams been playing pretty good basketball, playing pretty good competition, so that's why they have a little bit more losses than anything else. Number 3, Woodmont Wildcats at 10-3. Number 4, Greenville Raiders. Popped in my top 5, 8-0. And I know y'all like, Lucky, man, what's going on? I think that's number 4. Number 5, East Side Eagles at 7-3. Number 6 is the Travel Rest Devil Dogs, 8-6. Number 7, Berea Bulldogs, 7-6. Number 8, Fountain Fury, 7-6. Number 9, the JL Man Patriots at 7-6. And number 10, the Southside Tigers, 6-7. Now I probably should have put Woodmont ahead of Hillcrest, but I don't argue that right there. So what are my thoughts about that? Well, I'm gonna talk about the top 5 teams. I believe right now that going into region play, because a lot of these teams after January, when the new year starts, region play will start in Greenville County and all over South Carolina. So I'm looking for some of these teams in the top 10 to make noise in the South Carolina high school basketball playoffs, right? And listen, these top 5 teams are tough. So let's talk about these top 5 teams real quick, and I'm gonna give you my teams that I think they're gonna make some noise that's gonna shake up the top 10 list. The number 1 team that I'm gonna talk about, the Greer Yellow Jackets. Yeah, that's why I said Greer Yellow Jackets. They was the number 1 ranked team for the second weekend of row in the Greenville County Power Rankings. They went 3-0 this week, including beating an undefeated Clinton Red Devils team. That's a pretty good team. They shellacked Fountain Inn, a Westside Rams, which are also undefeated, and they won the Neely Roundball Classic against San Jose Prep, a school in Jacksonville, Florida. And I think this team right here, like I said, this team right here is good. They got a really good matchup coming up within a week or so against Greenville, to kind of a rematch. That's the really only blemish on their record. I believe that with Greer, they're hungry, and with basketball, you play 30 games in high school, so that's time to avenge your losses because a lot of these teams they play twice. So I'm looking for Greer to really crank it up and really to make some noise in the playoffs. I firmly believe that Greer should be able to make some noise, not make the playoffs, but also win the region that they're in. So good job for the Yellow Jackets, right? Number 2 team, the Hillcrest Rams. Hillcrest beat Boone 71-51 before losing to Fort Mill in a neutral tournament, but defeated Bowling Springs to go 2-1 for the week before Christmas break. Hillcrest have another tournament this week before their showdown against Legacy Early College Prep, the 1st of January. And I think that the reason why I put Hillcrest over Woodmont, as you know, they got one loss less. I think that Hillcrest competition is a little bit better than Woodmont as of right now. They're close, but with those Rams, they do play these prep schools. They play these different tournaments. That is going to fluctuate your schedule. That's going to make your record good, or bad, or indifferent. And I think with Hillcrest, they're playing good competition. They're making some noise. They're right outside the Fountain Inn area, Simpsonville, right up the street. So I believe that, like I said, if Hillcrest handle business, they will be the number 2 team again. But you need to watch out because ahead of their heels is number 3, the Woodmont Wildcats. The Wildcats, right? Let's talk about the Wildcats. They jumped from the number 4 spot this week to the number 3 spot after losing to Eastside High School. Woodmont responded by going 3-0 last week with wins against Easley, Carolina Academy, and Columbia High School. The Capitals, that's in Columbia, baby. With 3 more games until regional play, they rematched both Easley, and that's an away game, and they finished the week against Greenwood and Eastside, both at home. So Woodmont has a good chance right now. Them boys are 10-3. They got a good chance to go 13-3. And if you're 13-3, you're probably fighting for the top spot when it comes to the Greenville County polls. They should actually be number 2, but since I put the rankings up there, I got to stand on what I stand on. But I think with Woodmont watching their game against Eastside, I think their problem is the fact that when they play Eastside, they took some really, really bad shots, and Eastside forced them to take those outside high percentage shots that they wanted. But I think that it's a kid number 10. I gotta get his name, I gotta get his stats or whatever that I seen. Looking pretty good, but Woodmont, like I said before, those one of those teams that could definitely make some noise in their region and also in the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to see what Woodmont's doing. Woodmont, in my first rankings that I didn't release, was my number 1 team, so they got a good pedigree. They just got to keep it going. So let's talk about the hottest team I think in the county. Now, Greer's a good team, but this Red Raiders team, if they handle business at this the Poinsettia Classic, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna make sure I put everything aside because I need to get some films of these guys. So I'm gonna try to watch basketball, and I want to see with my own eyes if those Greenville Red Raiders can take care of business. Let's talk about the Greenville Red Raiders. Like I said, they're the hottest team right now. Currently the only undefeated team in Greenville County. Greenville was just outside of my rankings last week at number 6 and would be higher if they played just a few more games. But they're on the rise. Greenville just came off winning a tournament in Charleston, South Carolina, and is looking to add momentum as they play in the Poinsettia Classic in Greenville, South Carolina this week. Look for the Red Raiders to continue to raise up the rankings as long as they keep winning. Greenville's looking red hot going into regional play. Man, I like what Greenville's doing. And the thing with Greenville, man, it's like, shoot, like, they doing their thing in football, they doing their thing in basketball. Like, you got to give it up to the Red Raiders. And like I said before, they have an opportunity too to make some noise in the playoffs. And we got to understand, a lot of these teams, they do not play in the same region. Some of them do. Some of them do. A lot of them do. Greenville, I think, play in the same region with a few of the Greenville County schools. They play, at least they got 2 to 3 Greenville County schools that they do play in regional play. So I'm looking for the Greenville Red Raiders to not only do some things, but to take home of, listen, we're here not only in Greenville County, but in South Carolina. Because, listen, once you get outside of Greenville and the Greenville County schools, you got to make some noise in the state playoffs. That's one thing I can't wait to see, man. I can't wait to see it. So the last team I'm going to talk about, man, this team been fluctuating in my top 5. That's Eastside High School. Then they was the number 3 last week in the power rankings, dropped down to number 5 on the Greenville County power rankings. Was not in action last week, but will play in the Poinsettia Classic against Spring Valley, looking to bounce back from the loss against Hillcrest High School a few weeks ago. And that's it. That's why I think that. Eastside beat Woodmont, but Hillcrest beat Eastside. And I think that's it. That is my logic, and I'm sticking with it, man. So I think that these teams this week, a lot of them are playing in the holiday classics, the Poinsettia Classic. I will be talking about that at the end of the video. There's a lot of great teams that are playing, man. Listen, man, here's what you need to do. If you're not supporting high school basketball here in the upstate, Greenville County, I don't know what you're doing. These young men are going out there playing, and Friday nights, you can go out there and you can see the stands filled. They're tailgating. But when it comes to basketball, the stadiums are kind of light. And they're kind of light. So let's go check out these young men, man, that's really doing their thing. Most of them, they're playing their hearts out, trying to win for their schools, to do something at these schools that haven't been done in a while. And that's get some state titles. Let's go deep in the playoffs, man. So let's talk about teams to watch this week. Let's talk about the Travel Rest. After losing a few holiday tournaments, can Travel Rest come back to get into their top 5 positioning of Greenville County schools? And we got to remember, Travelers Rest was right on the edge. If I look at last week, they were 7-4, and they lost about 3 straight. No, they lost 2 straight. They lost 2 straight to go 7-6. So they kind of knocked them out the top 5. But Travelers Rest again got a good team. I think that Travelers Rest could indeed come in this thing and take care of business. But it's hard, man, because a lot of these teams play each other and they kind of knock each other out. So I'm watching out for Travelers Rest. They can jump into the top 5. The top 5. Another team to watch out for, the Fountain Inn Fury. I know what you know. Well, like you stay in Fountain Inn, you're pro Fountain Inn. Yeah, but here's my argument. Let's say this, people. And shout out to them Lady Furies, man. After not winning, I think they won maybe 1 or 2 games last year on the JV level. They're killing this year, winning more games they lose. So shout out to those Lady Fury. But back to those men. The young men, the young Fury Lions, not Lions, but they're young Fury. They are 9th and 10th graders, but they fight extremely hard. They could get some big wins in the region. And they play and try to make a playoff push. Not saying that they will make the playoffs this year, but they could make the playoff push with teams like Southside and Carolina Academy in their region. Fountain Inn could sneak their way into the Region 3 playoff brackets. And I'm not saying that they're going to see. I think that Fountain Inn may be a year, maybe 2 away. I think that they can really make noise next year because this is their first year in varsity play, period. Last year, they was only playing sub-varsity. That was at the JV level. So this year, they got some growing pains to do. There's some games that they should have won that they lost. So they were actually in the top 5, in the top 10. So making the top 10 in the Greenville County Power Rankings is a good thing. But that top 5 is the cream of the crop. That's what I like to say. The last team on the list that I'm watching out for this week is the Berea. So the Berea Bulldogs, right? So they stay just outside of my top 5 in the Greenville County Schools Power Rankings. Could Berea make a move this week with games against Blue Ridge and Greenville Hurricanes, the homeschool team, to get 2 wins underneath their belt before playing the Red Hot Red Raiders of Greenville? I think they can. Those 2 games are winnable right now. The Blue Ridge right now is 1-11. Right, so the Hurricane team, I think that Berea could beat them. Fountain Inn beat them twice. So I think that with those wins right there underneath their belt, Could they sneak in and beat Greenville? I don't know. That's a tough game. Greenville's playing some good basketball, but I do think that this right here could they can sleep in the top five. Because Eastside could slip. Like I said before, that's the only team I can see slipping, but I don't see them slipping like that. They got to slip a whole lot of weight because they're 7-3 right now. So I think that top five is secure unless the team can kind of come and make some noise depending on regional play. But I think that top five is probably going to stay like that, and they probably going to go back and forth with each other. So let's talk about this real quick before I get out of here, man. This is the Hoop Council with Lucky Murray. I'm talking high school basketball. So let's look at this game real quick that I think that could be the game of the week. Not this week, but next week. So the Yellow Jackets lost 45-75, right? So we look at the box score. We're looking at the box score. We're not looking at stats. We're not looking at none of that. We're just looking at the team scores, right? So it was close first quarter, 9-18. Greenville had a 9-point lead. So the second quarter, here's the thing. That 14-16, they was right ahead, but because of the simple fact that they gave Greenville that 9-point advantage in that first quarter, guess what was the thing that killed Greer High School? That 28-8 third quarter score. That tells you the game right there. They played them hard. The second and the fourth quarter, they played them hard. The first quarter, they let slip away. And because they let them slip away in that first quarter, the third quarter, they went on a run, and they never looked back. And they beat them by 45-50. They beat them by 30. So, do I think that that's going to happen again? I don't think that. I think that Greer knows what they need to do. But at the same time, will Greenville allow them to lay down? No, they won't. So that's going to be my game of the week. Not this week, but next week. But I'll talk more about that game when it comes up. So let's talk about the Poncetta Classic right here, right? So it is the 27th. So tomorrow, let me see the teams I want to watch. So here's the Poncetta Classic. So you have North Augusta and Greenwood, Somerville and Bowling Springs, Wade, Hampton, and North Myrtle Beach, and you have Sumter and Hillcrest, right? So those are the teams that's playing tomorrow. So I may want to see that Hillcrest game, but then again, Hillcrest is up the street, so I can watch them anytime. So the Palmetto bracket, right? This is probably the one I want to see. So you have Spring Valley and you have Eastside. You have Gray against Malden. You have Gaffney against Powdersfield, and you have Gilbert versus Greenville. So that's going to be a good matchup right there, too. So I'm just trying to think about I wish the games went so far back because that 4 o'clock, you got a 1 o'clock, 2:30, 4 o'clock, and then you have an 8:30 all the way right here. So we're going to see what happens with this right here. So they're $10 at the door. It is hosted by Greenville High School, so you don't want to miss it. So man, I'm going to try to be in the building if I can. But this is the Hoop Council's podcast with your host, Lucky Murray, High School Hoops Edition. We're talking about Greenville County Power Rankings. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is great. This is great stuff. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Like always, it's the next time, people.